escaping the shadows. I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is CeeChronicles. I post fragrance related content on this platform, especially Middle Eastern fragrances. If you're new and you like that style of content, please consider joining this channel by subscribing and becoming part of the family. To those who are returning, thank you so much guys for the continued support. Kindly check out my second channel, CeeChronicles Unscripted. On that channel, I focus on vlogs as well as Western fragrance reviews. How you get to that channel, guys, is on the banner for this channel where you find my picture there. Just below that, you're going to see two links. One link is going to take you to CeeChronicles Unscripted, and a second link is a PayPal link in case you want to donate anything at all towards purchases of some of the fragrances on this channel, because this is not a sponsored channel. It relies solely on you guys watching adverts for revenue. Now, welcome to today's video. As promised 2 days ago, when I did my declutter video, I said I was going to bring you a Guerlain smell-alike fragrances in one video. So I have grouped some of the fragrances within my collection that smell like the Guerlains. Why I picked this one particularly is because this was my reference point. When I was decluttering, I said I was going to keep this one a little bit just for this video. Now, on number one, guys, is going to be the Hookline. What would be this channel without a Hookline? Now, the Hookline is going to be the Mon Guerlain. You guys are always, almost always, even if it's not a video that has anything to do with Guerlains, asking for a Mon Guerlain dupe or clone, right? Now, I personally don't have one this minute in my collection, but I can tell you about the ones I've seen. Fragrance World has got two clones called Mon Gracious. I haven't used them, but based on the presentation and the bottle, I can say they have cloned the regular Mon Guerlain, and then they've cloned the Intense. Because if you look at that, if you look at the neckline for the bottle of the Mon Guerlain and the Intense, you will know that the regular one it's got like a gold neckline, and the other one has got like a deep pink, line. So that they have those two bottles. One is the regular one is the Intense. So because I haven't smelled those, I can just recommend them based off the fact that Fragrance World is a house that does clones that are pretty close. The other recommendation is going to be My Glamour from Pandora, which happens to be a subsidiary of Paris Corner. I did own that fragrance at one point, but I had to declutter it. I do have a review of that fragrance. It's not a very nice one because I did find that it did miss the mark here and there. Now, the last recommendation is a fragrance that you've probably seen, walked past, know of, looked at the picture and didn't care, which is Guess Seductive Noir. Guys, Guess Seductive Noir smells 85% close to the Mon Guerlain, the original. It could even stretch it to the Intense to some noses. It's just gonna depend on how you interpret, the scent itself. But that is pretty close. So get yourself that bottle. If you love that Mon Guerlain Intense or the regular Mon Guerlain, get yourself that bottle. You won't be missing much, guys, and it is pretty affordable there. Now, jumping straight to the second one, which is gonna be Pepper So Spicy from Fragrance World. This Pepper So Spicy, guys, is a fragrance that I actually love, and this is why I've introduced a fragrance tray. Look at where it's at. I am obsessed with this particular one, but I just spray it here and there and then I forget about it. Now, Pepper So Spicy by the house Fragrance World themselves was marketed as a standalone until one fellow frighead came into my comment section and said, see, this is not a standalone. I have smelled this and I have it in my collection. I know exactly what they were going for. And that frighead is called Joel Matrix. He sometimes comments on my, fragrance channel here and there, although he hasn't been in the comment section for a while, but he did come in the comment section and said, this smells exactly like a Cine Lupin Voyou, a fragrance by Guerlain, which has since been rebottled and is now called a Piece of Valise. Now, if I am tongue twisted and all that in that, guys, please do understand the fact that I do not speak French. I'm just doing the best I can. So this, according to Joel Matrix, guys, is a fragrance that is cloning a Piece Valise. So if you have that fragrance or you haven't smelled that fragrance, you could try this one. However, what I can say about it is a spicy, very complex scent there. It is now smelling a lot more refined than it was when I got it. Very rounded there, very unique. It's not going to smell like a lot of some of the fragrances that you smelled on the market there. Really spicy, like a realistic Indian kitchen kind of spicy type of situation there, drying down powdery. This is Pepper So Spicy, guys, the second one on the lineup. On number 3 is, of course, the fragrance that made us do this video, and this is Suede Intense from Maison Alhambra. Now, Suede Intense is a fragrance inspired by Guerlain's Intense. This is thickened to somewhat of a good concoction. It will give you a realistic burst of what feels like brand new leather seats, or like if you open a brand new car. Literally a brand new car, you know, wrapped in this plastics there. You open it, and that car has got a little bit of some sun rays in it. So the leather is kind of like rising up to the top. That's what I get from this. And then it's wrapped around what feels like a berry or raspberry or something like that. So it's a beautiful mix of a leather and a berry. But the leather is very gentle, and as much as the notes appear to be intimidating, everything in here is subtle. The words are not doing the most, but they're there. The spices are not doing the most, but they're there. It's very well rounded, and one fragrance that's very easy to like, men or women. Okay, so I do get unisex vibes from this one. Oh yeah, speaking of which, Pepper So Spicy is also one that is genderless, at least to my nose. So this a man and a woman can wear. And then this, of course, I do get unisex vibes here. Some men actually might find that raspberry doing a little bit too much there, but it's quite a nice fragrance, you know, overall. Maison Alhambra Suede Intense, inspired by Intense, by the house of Guerlain. Now, while we're at it, guys, I might as well get Raw Human out of the way. Now, I'm not saying Raw Human is a fragrance inspired by Guerlain, right? But there is an uncanny resemblance between these two fragrances. The DNAs kind of vibe the same. They kind of fall under that same fragrance family where you have a very light leather mixing with a fruity thing happening there. Something that I get here, right? Now that I've had this one for about a year and this one for about 6 months, maybe it might turn out to be exactly this. I do not know. However, what I can say about this one is this Raw Human feels as though it is that leather, okay, that kind of leans towards ombre leather, but very diluted there, to an extent feeling like it's got like a lychee note, or like a water-based fruit, something like that. But I just had to show you guys this one, that in case you're looking at this and you're wondering what it smells like, or you have this, you probably have a representation of one or the other, okay? But they're not identical. They just vibe the same. Like, to an extent, I'm not sure what they were going for with this. I cannot outright call it an ombre leather clone. I cannot call it a Intense clone. But it kind of feels like that leather and fruit type of mix there. So it's Raw Human, and I thought to just add it here for those who just want to maybe try it out, because it does remind me a lot of that Suede Intense. Now the next one is going to be As Tuberos. Now As Tuberos, guys, is a fragrance that to my nose has got, this is a nice fragrance, guys. I don't even know why I'm not using these fragrances. This one has got like a very candied, powdery, milky, like tonic kind of wrap up. It feels like it's got a milk note. Now, when I came with this one, I did pass it off as a Musk Ultra Blanc clone, which is what Fragrance World had passed it off as. But I did get a comment again from PK Swafford. Okay, they said in my comment section that they did have As Tuberos on one hand, and they had As Tuberos on the other hand, and they swore that this is actually a As Tuberos clone, right? And they went on to elaborate that they get a vanilla, a lily, a tuberose, I can't remember what else, right? And a sandalwood, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I'm going to stand with what I said. I still get like a Musk Ultra Blanc type of tonic thing going on there. I do get like a sandalwood thing going on there, which could be what they're getting as well. I do get, you know, like a candied thing going on in this, like a candy tone of a fragrance there, drying down powdery. So I'm gonna leave this one open-ended, guys. Or perhaps let's make it easy by saying this as a standalone is a very enjoyable fragrance that's gonna give you something that feels like tuberose, something that feels milky there, as though it's got like an independent milky note. It's going to give you like a candy tone to it, as though it's got like a sweet thing in there, like sweets, like sherbets or something like that in there. It's going to dry down powdery and musky, and it's going to have like that sandalwood wrap up there. So I'm going to leave it at that. Whether it's a joyous tuberose clone or it's a musk ultra blanc clone, all I can say is it's a beautiful and enjoyable fragrance nonetheless. So you could try this one, guys, if you're looking for something that smells along them lines. And then we have Paris Corners Ultra Citrus from the Emir line. Now this, guys, though bottled in the Le Labo bottles, right? Because they did this Le Labo range of bottles, or Le Labo lookalike, and even cloned the Santal 33. They called theirs Rich Santal, and we all thought these are all going to be Le Labo, based, until we noticed that no, some of them were not, because from the same line, they cloned By the Fireplace. It's also bottled in this, and then this one is in the same vein as Guerlain's Le Frenchy. Now, if you love Le Frenchy, this fragrance nails that DNA. It does feel like a very intensified punch of that sour citrus, right? Intensified in the sense that there is the use of the citrus as a juice, there is the use of the lemon as a juice, mandarin as a juice, maybe tangerine as a juice, and then there is the zestiness from all those. There might be lime, there might be bergamot, and then they went on to use the lemon verbena leaves. So it comes across as a very concentrated citrus tone of a fragrance here that holds its own. It's, in as much as we always say citrus is a volatile, this is a citrus that's going to last you the whole day, right? So if you're looking for a Guerlain's Le Frenchy clone, then you've got it in this one. And while I'm at it, let me just give you a quick tip on Sophia. Sophia is a fragrance that is also built around the citrus. This one has got more of a fresh punch in the citrus than this one. This one has got like a citrus that's really thick and concentrated there, as if it's just all citrus, and you put your nose there and then you add like some sweetness. It's like the rind, the juice, the leaves, like that sort of concoction. That's what you get from here. But from Sophia, you're going to get that citrus and a little bit of some spiciness. Now, am I saying Sophia and this are the same thing? No, actually, when I looked up Sophia, a lot of people seem to say this one is in the same vein as Oud for Happiness, right? I haven't put my nose on Oud for Happiness, but I would like to believe that if over 200 people feel it smells like that, then there is some element of truth in it. But why I have these two fragrances, guys, is in case you already have this and you want to purchase that, or vice versa. To avoid redundancy, I'm going to say if you're looking for citruses on steroids, buy this one. If you're looking for a citrus with a bit of some herbal aromaticness there, buy this one, right? This DNA shares that similarity in it without exactly being a clone of each. So I just thought to throw it out there as a wild card in case you are after something that smells like the Le Frenchy, right? This is going to be outright Guerlain Le Frenchy, but if you've got Sophia, you already kind of have like a representation of what that Le Frenchy is all about. Now I'm going to jump to Fragrance World because they gave us their rendition of Le Frenchy, but this time cloning Lavend, right? But to my nose and spraying this fragrance like this, yeah, you can get the lavender, but it takes a little bit of some digging there. So Le Frenchy Lavend and Le Frenchy itself are two fragrances that probably are not so distant from each other, okay, apart from that lavender note. However, I've got to say it like it is. This one draws its inspiration from Le Frenchy Lavend. So if you like that twist, you're going to get it from this. If you haven't smelled this one or the Lavend, from this particular one, expect that citric kick, expect a little bit of a sour tone there, expect an even aromatic tone there, a little bit of a freshness, a little bit of a greenness, and of course that touch of lavender. So this is fresh as citrus, drawing its inspiration, guys, from Guerlain's Le Frenchy Lavend. And then we have Leather So Rare. Now, I managed to get some use out of this fragrance. As it stands now, I'm done with this one. I'm not going to repurchase it because it was quite a difficult one, but we were going through a cold spell and I just tried this fragrance with my Choco Musk, and the two just married together to give me a concoction that I was enjoying a lot, right? So when I came initially with this fragrance, I did pass it off as an ombre leather clone, because that's what I get. I get mostly like an almondy, leathery, smoky, incensey, even woodsy type of fragrance in this. But I also got somebody in the comment section, and I take your comments seriously, guys, whether negative, whether positive, whether whatever, especially for those who are like true frig heads. If you come and you give me a comment like Joe Matrix, I know he's a true frig head. PK Swafford, I think it's actually Paula Swafford, but it's PK Swafford. I know she's a true frig head. I take such comments seriously. The comment on this one was from somebody called the Chinkaru. They don't comment that much on my channel, but they came and they said, no, this is actually a Guerlain clone. And I said, oh, really? Which one? Because I thought it smells so much like ombre leather to my nose. It probably is inspired by, ombre leather, and it was just Fragrance World that wanted to throw us off there. And they said, no, there is a fragrance from Guerlain called Cœur Beluga that smells exactly like this. So they said they think Fragrance World were going for Cœur Beluga. I haven't tried Cœur Beluga. I do not own it. I haven't even sniffed it in store, but I can speak for this and say, guys, if you have Cœur Beluga and to your nose it smells a lot like ombre leather, let me know, then we will know that my nose is not drunk, if you will. Okay, so Cœur Beluga is what somebody said this one smells like, but I personally get a very woodsy, smoky, incensey, aromatic, complex, leathery, almondy type of fragrance that aligns mostly with Tom Ford's ombre leather. This is Leather So Rare, again from Fragrance World. Then before we get into the honorable mentions, guys, I'm going to give you the last one that I have physically here. And we can almost conclude that Fragrance World has done the most when it comes to giving us the Guerlain clones, or at least maybe it just so happens that I have mostly the Fragrance World, because I've got one Paris Corner, I have got two Lattafas, and I've got one Maison Alhambra, and the rest were Fragrance World. Well, of course, unless you are listening to my honorable mentions, because some of the honorable mentions have got nothing to do with Fragrance World, right? So the last one's going to be Posas Rose. Now this I did go in store and give it and try to sniff what it is purported to be inspired by, which is Rose Cherie from Guerlain, and I did get some similarities there. What I can say about this fragrance, guys, is it is a rosy type of fragrance there. It is definitely built around the rose, but as opposed to being like a piercing rose that I do not like, this rose is kind of rounded there with like a fruity, jammy feel. So that jammy feel gives it a fun twist. So it does have that thing where whether you're young or you're old, you're probably gonna like this fragrance. It's not fun twist as in juvenile. It's not mature as in very old. It's just balanced there somewhere in between. So it just gives you a complex twist of a rose and I think a violet combo there, because it does dry down to like a powdery, musky type of fragrance, if I'm not mistaken. So there is something here that feels a little bit like violet and iris, but it's an enjoyable fragrance altogether, with that jammy thingy there weighing in as sweet, even candy-like. Okay, so this is Posas Rose, guys, drawing its inspiration from Guerlain's Rose Cherie. Now, before we close up, let me just give you 3 or 4 wild card recommendations. If you've been looking or eyeing Idili, right? One fragrance again by Guerlain. I actually own that. You could get your hands on Sarah Jessica Parker's Lovely. That fragrance is not so distanced, guys, from Idili, although Idili gives you a well-rounded, more refined type of presentation. It does feel like it's in the same vein. Now, I know there's going to be 2 schools of thoughts when it comes to this theory of mine. In the sense that the same Sarah Jessica Parker's Lovely also draws or feels a lot like Narciso Rodriguez's Her. So it's just going to depend. But I still get the same DNA that I get in Narciso Rodriguez's Her. I get the same DNA in Sarah Jessica Parker's Lovely. And I get the same DNA, guys, in Guerlain's Idili. And I have Idili and I've used Lovely. If anything, I think I'm going to bring back Lovely and do a side-by-side comparison on my other channel, because I used it when it was launched, which was probably 12 years ago, but I do get some semblance there. You know, the minute I sprayed Idili, because I bought my Idili just for the bottle, it was a blind buy. And the minute it turned up and I sprayed it, I was like, this is lovely. Okay, just smell, not lovely as in lovely, but I mean, I just dawned on me that I think Sarah Jessica Parker was going for this fragrance when she created Lovely. Okay, so that's one wild card there. And then Fragrance World have got a fragrance called Queen of Hearts. If you've seen that in their new collection, they have got these like Jack of Clubs, Queen of Hearts, King of Cups, or something like that. So the Queen of Hearts is inspired by Le Petite Robe Noir. Okay, so if you're looking for an alternative of that fragrance, or the fragrance one, or the Fragrance World one is affordable, then you could try that one. But the Le Petite Robe Noir fragrance is not that expensive. It's subjective in terms of, you know, how much it costs, or I could say it's like maybe location based in terms of how much it costs. Here it's going to cost a lot more money, but I think in Europe it's pretty much a fragrance that you can pick up for more or less what the clone is going for, right? But I just thought to throw it there, right? Fragrance World, Queen of Hearts, inspired by Le Petite Robe Noir. Now the last one is going to be for the gents out there. Fragrance World Supreme L'Homme, inspired by Guerlain's L'Homme Ideal Extreme, the red one. It copies everything, the bottle and everything. So that's it, guys. That's a wrap. Those are some of the Guerlain smell-alike fragrances within my collection. I know there's a lot more out there, so I am asking you to drop the ones that you know in the comment section, especially that Spiritueuse Double Vanille. If you have come across a fragrance that smells a lot like that, drop it in the comment section, because that is another one after Mon Guerlain that a lot of people are after, right? I know this same company, Fragrance World, gave us a fragrance called Vanilla So Sweet, and they passed it off as a Spiritueuse Double Vanille in one of these bottles, but I didn't want to come here with it, guys. I have it in my collection. I didn't want to come here with it because I have given that fragrance a long rope, okay, to just make sure that I am right. I have put it in a dark cupboard. I put it back in the box. I did not touch it. I made sure it macerated and everything. But the first thing I still get anytime I spray it is that Angel Share DNA, you know, something very identical to Angel Share, missing the mark a little bit. So I think they were onto something, but they kind of missed the mark there. So I didn't want to come with that one and then have you guys rush and buy it and then come back and like, what's going on here? Okay, so thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Do turn on post notifications on both my channels. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this video meanwhile, and remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.